Not everyone enters university life, or a first career for that matter, brimming over with self-confidence. That's even truer for those of us who feel that we want to hold on to our Catholic faith. We can see plainly that many around us don't share that desire, or even don't understand it. Pope Francis has been exciting people, young and old, in ways that are new to most of us. What's his secret? And how do you and I tap into it? Many people have reported that he has been inspiring them, and some people have said that he's boosted their confidence as Catholic Christians. What's his secret? How does he do this? Let's reflect for a moment on this secret of his. There are 3 topics in particular that he returns to again and again, which could be helpful to the rest of us. One is his frequent invitation to become missionary disciples. He thinks that the church should be like that. He thinks individual men and women in the church should be like that too. The second is his regular emphasis on God's mercy and compassion. Hand in hand with this phrase is his regular request for people to pray for him. He's often referred to himself as a great sinner. Third is his constant emphasis that the church should show concern for the poor and the excluded. He's made many gestures of solidarity and support for both Christians and non-Christians who are marginalised and victims of injustice. Then also, of course, there is his well-known love of people, love of crowds, and his relaxed informality. Think, for example, of his decision not to live in the grandeur of the Apostolic Palace in Rome, but in a basic guest house, and increasingly how he enjoys posing for a selfie, especially with young people. Missionary disciples. That's a phrase that sounds intimidating to many of us. Sounds like a call to be heroic, and yet few of us are heroes. But there's a line in the New Testament that could help us out here. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have, but do this with gentleness and respect. In other words, people will see your hope and wonder where you get it from. They might have seen heroism that you didn't see yourself. If you tell them the reason for your hope, you're already a missionary disciple. The Pope's striking emphasis on God's mercy and compassion has caught many people's attention, and it comes straight from his Ignatian heritage. As a Jesuit, he has twice in his life undergone the experience of the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius of Loyola. Early in that long, silent retreat, you're invited to reflect deeply on sinfulness, your own, but also that of the world, of human history, and of society. This reflection leads one to the grace of a profound appreciation of God's mercy. So, in appreciating God's mercy, we find ourselves moving towards gratitude, which in turn leads us to a life of joy and being merciful ourselves. Pope Francis has told the story of how, when it became obvious that he was about to be elected Pope, another cardinal, his great friend from Brazil, leant over and whispered, "Never forget the poor." As a member of a religious order, Pope Francis has lived under a vow of poverty. This vow leads him to identify with the poor. Francis certainly encourages us to do the same too. The vow of poverty leads us to a true sense of freedom, especially when confronted by a society which is telling us that freedom and fulfillment are to be found in accumulating wealth and possessions. People can see a deep freedom in Pope Francis. What can we learn from Pope Francis? Maybe the first thing to learn is that his secret is not a secret. To be missionary disciples, ordinary people who know deep in their hearts that God is merciful and are energized by that grace, and who then develop a loving concern for the poor and excluded, is not beyond us, Pope Francis. And this brief reflection just picks up on 3 of these. You might find others that speak to you personally. Think then of this. If any does strike you at a deeper level, what does it mean for you? The very fact that it touches you personally is significant. It could mean that God's Spirit is calling you to growth in that specific area. You, with all your gifts and all your talents, which nobody else possesses in quite the same combination, that's the real secret. And of course, it's not really a secret at all.